Good afternoon, everybody. I wanted to show you what 338Canada is projecting with regards to the polls. And I mean, this was taken on the 24th, so that was the last update. That's a few days ago now, 3 days ago, so it's getting old, this poll. But still, I wanted to show you the CPC has a clear lead, 36%. Justin Trudeau's Liberals are fading, but I guess not lower than 30%. And I wanted to show you the seat projection, because that's the important part. That's the way our system works. It doesn't matter how much support you have, it does matter how many seats you get. And it's projecting 163 seats for the Conservatives, 130 seats for the Liberals, and 26 seats for the NDP, 12 for the Bloc, 4.5 for the Green, and just under 1 for the PPC. I think that the PPC will overperform this poll. I think they'll probably get 2 or 3, maybe 5. Anyway, I wanted to show you though, there's going to be lots of movement between now and the election, right? But these Liberals, this trend is looking like Trudeau's sparkle is fading. And there's lots of other indicators that that Liberal machine is not nearly as strong as the media is making it out to be. And I mean, there's nothing but scandal. They're mired in scandal. I don't know how they're even polling for this many seats. Honestly, I really don't. But who knows? I just show you what is happening. This is what the polls say as of March 24th, 2019. So we'll see. We'll see. Will the PPC overperform? Will the LPC underperform? And what's with the NDP anyway? Conservatives are pretty clearly in the lead. That's a pretty comfortable seat margin. That said, there's a long time between now and election, and that's important to note. So lots could happen. Anything could happen. There could be a scandal. Global News is reporting, and this is today, Justice Committee receives promised extra material from Wilson Raybould on SNC-Lavalin. The House Commons Committee, I'm going to get rid of that. The House of Commons Justice Committee that shut down its probe into the SNC-Lavalin scandal last week has now received the additional information former Attorney General Jody Wilson-Raybould vowed to share following its refusal to hear from her a second time. Anthony Housefather, Liberal chair of the committee, confirmed in an email to Global News the documents have been received and are in the process of being translated. Earlier this morning, Housefather said that the documents had not yet been received but would be translated prior to release to the public. Another individual with knowledge of the proceedings said Housefather had sent an email to committee members letting them know that the documents had been received and that a plan for their release to members and the public was expected shortly. The rest of this article is just outlining the whole Jody Wilson-Raybould situation and how improper it is, etc., etc. And, I mean, as I said, we're still looking for the rest of the shoes to drop on this. There's Jody Wilson-Raybould's plan, it looks like, is to leak this out and keep this in the news cycle as long as possible. It's a complicated story. It's big. The names are long. Jody Wilson-Raybould is long. Dr. Philpott is, well, not that long, but Anthony Housefather's a long name. And all of that goes to how confusing this story is. And that doesn't help keep it in the public sphere. You have to explain it. And this has gone on for over a month now. This broke February 10th, and we're almost into April. And all of that said, it's incredible that this is still one of the hottest stories in Canada, because it's clear that the Trudeau government is keeping something under wraps and not letting Miss Wilson-Raybould speak about important issues. The waiver only goes up to the time when she was Attorney General and doesn't include the time where she was still in cabinet as the Veteran Affairs Minister and not as Attorney General. So she can't speak to that, and Miss Philpott can't speak to her time in cabinet and parliament and caucus, because it hasn't been waived for her. So they're both saying, yeah, there's a lot more to tell. And having this kind of dissent in a Liberal caucus, in a sitting government, a governing government caucus, is really something to see. Like, this is not usual. This is not business as usual. This is very unusual. If people make this much noise, usually the leader gets rid of them. Like that, right? Like, they're done. Get out. You want to be an independent? Say what you will. Be an independent. And, I mean, becoming an independent wouldn't release Miss Wilson-Raybould or Dr. Philpott from their obligations and their oaths. The only person who can do that is Justin Trudeau. But all of that said, all of this dissent is usually not tolerated within caucus. Trudeau knows that he can't dispel them, but I read an article yesterday, and the link is in yesterday's video description, where Mr. Morneau says that it's up to caucus in order to choose what happens with Ms. Wilson-Raybould and Dr. Philpott. So interesting. So we're going to be getting some potentially redacted information from the Justice Committee, as Mr. Housefather has said that he will redact personal information. And who knows who gets to decide what personal information is, but I'm sure it'll be the information they don't want us to read. So the Quiggin Report podcast is tweeting, and I found this interesting. Mr. Tom Quiggin, I've referenced him a whole bunch in some other stories, and from what I can tell, he's above board. He reports things as factually as he sees them, and Twitter has seen to suspend him. And here's the Quiggin Report podcast tweeting, quote, Twitter suspends ex-military intelligence analyst for reporting on intelligence matters as it pertains to national security. Let that sink in. Hashtag and a bunch of mentions, etc. And, excuse me, here's a link to the screenshot of the suspension. Interesting. This need to silence people. Can we not have a realistic, robust conversation? It's frustrating. Katie Simpson from CBC is reporting, quote, new. I exchanged emails with Jody Wilson-Raybould asking a few questions about her new submissions and the latest SCC twist, Supreme Court of Canada twist, in the SNC-Lavalin scandal. Here's what she told me. Wilson-Raybould, quote, as I stated earlier in the week, I am not at liberty to comment on the veracity of the reporting, ... related to the leaking around the Supreme Court of Canada appointment process. Wilson-Raybould, I do feel compelled to say that I have not, as some have suggested, been the source of any of these stories, nor have I ever authorized any person to speak on my behalf. To be specific, Katie was asking about the recent Supreme Court of Canada appointment process stories. Wilson-Raybould, quote, I strongly condemn anyone who would speak about or provide information on such sensitive matters. Wilson-Raybould, quote, any commentary reporting in this regard with respect to a Supreme Court of Canada appointment could compromise the integrity of the appointments process, our institutions, and potentially sitting justices. Wilson-Raybould, this has to stop, and given the seriousness of this matter, I feel that there should be consideration of having some sort of investigation as to the source of this information. So it wasn't me. I didn't leak it, and we should find out who it was, because it is terrible, right? It will, or potentially could potentially compromise other appointees, etc. So the system is potentially compromised. Shocker. I think Trudeau compromised the system. I saw this, and this has nothing to do with Canadian politics, but it has to do with the Green New Deal. I've seen Canadian politicians tweeting about the Green New Deal and how it makes so much sense and we have to do something, etc., etc., etc. Well, this is a House representative speaking about the Green New Deal, which got no votes, and it's been widely panned as a not serious plan. And this gentleman puts together a 15-minute presentation that just had me laughing. He was talking about, we can't have a giant seahorse gap, Mr. President. It was awesome. It was really funny. And part of it was watching this woman's face, like every time she put things up. He never breaks. He's like, he stays strong the whole time. However, she laughs, and it's very funny. So this whole thing's worth a watch. Has nothing to do with Canadian politics, but if you want to laugh at some crazy, crazy people, well, have a laugh, because the rest of the world is having a laugh at OAC over this. Green New Deal indeed. Okay, thanks for watching, everybody. Check out the People's Party of Canada.ca. We're on track to get not quite one seat. So have a look, have a laugh, and maybe we'll get 2 or 3. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good afternoon. Oh, one other show note. Tomorrow, I am out with my family tomorrow, so I might get a show in. I'm not sure, but if I don't get a show in, I'm sorry. I'm planning on getting a show in. I'll probably get a show in tomorrow afternoon. They'll probably release these documents, and I'll get yelled at a bunch for reading the documents while everybody's having lunch. But all of that said, my video production will be low tomorrow, so I apologize. We'll see you, probably tomorrow afternoon or evening. It'll be evening if it is at all. So thanks for watching, everybody, and have a wonderful tomorrow as well.